Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Ljs Garage, and in front of me is a 2018 Indian Scout. Old Indians never die, they just tell better stories. So stay tuned, we're going to find out what story this Indian has to tell. So you can get one of these starting at about $11,500. And for an additional $500, you can get one with ABS. They come in a slew of different colors. This one is the Thunder Black, and I think it looks really nice, especially with these brown leather seats. For that price, you get an aluminum frame, stunning traditional classic Indian looks. But is that all that you get? No, there's more. So let's talk about some numbers. You get an 1100cc motor that makes 100 horsepower, 72 foot-pounds of torque, and it comes paired with a 6-speed manual. For some more numbers, you have a 3.3 gallon tank, and you average about 46 miles per gallon, and this bike weighs in at about 558 pounds with a full tank of gas. So let me show you guys some of my favorite features on this Scout. First, I want to show you guys this classic Indian traditional headlight, just a single one with these side markers right here, turn signals and all. And then you've got these side mirrors right here, which are nice and sleek and classic and beautiful. Check out this attention to detail with this beautiful V-twin motor right here. And then you've got your forward controls, so that's a little different for you sport bike riders. You might not like that, but it takes a little bit of getting used to. It's got this little Indian plaque right here that tells you some important stuff about this motorcycle. Check out these beautifully fabricated exhaust pipes. Very nice. And then these oh so soft leather seats. Some positives about this: low center of gravity, high RPMs. You know, it feels really good. It's a fairly light bike. And so for about 500 whatever pounds it was, this feels pretty good coming from a sport bike and hopping right on this. All right, and moving forward to the controls themselves, the brakes are nice and responsive. The clutch is very solid. Everything feels really good. The forward controls, like I said, they take a little bit of getting used to, but everything, once you've spent some time with the bike, you hop on and it feels really good. Finding neutral takes no time. Getting in first feels good. Second gear feels good. Everything feels nice on this bike. Something that's very important to you first-time buyers or someone looking to get onto this bike that's never sat on one. I'm about 5'9", and as you can see, my feet are flat on the ground. I feel very comfortable on this bike, and I will now demonstrate what a 5'5" person looks like on this bike. As you can see, this is what a 5'5" individual looks like on the Scout. So if you notice, this bike has 29 degrees of rake, which if you're wondering what rake is, it's going to be the angle of tilt that this front neck is actually positioned at. And it's just a little bit more steep than a sport bike, but not quite full chopper style. So again, it takes a little bit of getting used to. It's not the worst thing in the world, not the best thing in the world, just a different riding style. So what does that mean for you? It means that your turning is gonna be a little different on this bike if you're not used to something that has that kind of rake. So it's not the worst thing in the world, it's not the best thing in the world. Everyone has their riding style and their preference. And I kind of like sitting on this bike. It's a good driving position, it feels really nice, but I can't say that I've ever been a fan of like ape hangers or anything like that. But to each his own. This bike is definitely something that takes a little getting used to. If you're coming from a sport bike, if you're used to cruisers, you can hop right on this and it'll feel really good. Another cool feature is one touch start. Indian says that all you do is you push that once, you don't have to hold it, and this bike will start up every time. So let's go ahead and get this thing turned on. So let's try out this one touch start right here. Here we go. There we go. As you guys can see, it's a pretty classic gauge cluster for an Indian. This one, it'll tell you that you're in neutral, it'll tell you your fuel is low. Other than that, there's really not a whole lot to it. You don't have RPMs analog style, you have them all digital, so it'll be right there. It'll tell you what gear you're in right there, you got your time. Other than that, there really isn't a whole lot that goes on. Just to give you guys a little kind of rider's perspective, this is what it looks like when you're on one of these. All right, let me give you guys a little taste of what this exhaust sounds like. This thing is plenty fast, it's got plenty of power, so for those of you that are like, oh, it's only 1100 cc's, 96 cubic inches or 69 cubic inches, whatever it is, this bike actually is pretty quick. The clutch is nice and forgiving. You can actually just shift smooth and like butter and all that good stuff, and I don't know, it's just comfortable. Going over some railroad tracks, it was nice and bouncy, just plenty of comfort, but plenty of stiffness to keep this nice and sporty. Honestly, this is a really great bike. I do have one bone to pick with Indian over here, and it's because this bike does not come standard with heat deflectors. So when you're sitting right here, as you normally would, the heat from this motor comes right up and it goes into your crotchular region, which causes a lot of heat buildup in that area. And I'm not a huge fan of that. It's something that you can pick up in the aftermarket, but I strongly recommend that for us the guys out there and ladies out there that do decide to ride one of these. Just to clarify, what I was saying was that you can get aftermarket heat deflectors, not pick up heat for your crotchular region in the aftermarket, which I'm sure you can do that too, but just to clarify. All right, so closing thoughts on the Indian Scout 2018. I've got to say that I enjoyed it. It's very smooth. These seats are super comfortable. It kind of fits right in there with all the cruisers. You're not going to really have a big learning curve if you're used to that degree of rake like I talked about earlier. It's comfortable, it's plenty sporty. It's not the most powerful bike, it's kind of the entry-level model, but it's got plenty of giddy up for those of you that like that giddy up stuff. It sounds nice, so at least the girls will like that. And for those of you that say that this Indian Scout is actually a girl's bike, you're wrong. This bike is actually a comfortable bike for average sized people, and it's got a lot of street presence. You know, you can actually turn this into something cool, or you can just leave it stock, and the beauty of this bike speaks for itself. So thank you guys for checking out yet another episode of LJ's Garage. Be sure to hit that like button, that comment button, and the subscribe button. Let me know down below what you guys think of the Indian Scout or any other motorcycles you look forward to seeing.